Chi Creation, Love and Light, Part 5. So, as we'll continue from the last episode, um, and well done if you are continuing, because like looking at stars and being a flat earther and all that kind of stuff, it's like, it's almost like a red flag, isn't it? It's like, so, and it's, even this, yeah, like, contemplating all this kind of thing, um, it did concern me. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how people are going to take it, all that kind of stuff. Like, um, but but don't worry about like the globe, because that's history. You know what I mean? There's a reason why there's only fake evidence to support the idea. So like I was see here, like the center line, the the horizon line of that spinning part is the causation for the flat plane. So if this is part of a spiritual realm, you know what I mean, then all of it is. But this is like the bubble of consciousness which exists within there and stuff. Um, so, but yeah, we'll get more into it as we go along. There's like loads of nature pictures I want to show. I don't know if we're going to get to in this one, but um, we'll just keep going. So yeah, all the different pictures of stars and stuff which I showed you on last episode, they could be just like the potential, like other different stars. I'm not really a space scientist, you know what I mean. All the knowledge which is out there, that which is a mainstream knowledge, I'm not familiar with it all as such. I went into sci-fi years ago, but so I get the narrative of it and stuff like that kind of thing. Like, but now we're seeing a different narrative. So like to see like the true aspect of it and stuff like that is, um, it's quite cool. I don't know. You'll see it in nature pictures and stuff, but um, oh yeah, that's what I was saying about all the pictures of the stars. Uh, like neutron stars, a massive star. It's a massive star, a neutron star, which is developed. So like you've got like it shows you as two. Like is it one to begin with? It splits, it circles, it merges, it becomes something. You've got a bubble of consciousness. Maybe it's just developing the world in terms of like matter and all that kind of thing. It's like all the other images, like in the previous episode, all the chakra ball, energy ball creation things. So it's like all the expansion and contraction. It's turning that spiritual matter into into physical matter. So you could say that was stage one, and then it goes into a collapse, and then becomes a massive star, and then collapses again into its separate bubbles and stuff kind of thing. So your domes and all these kind of things and stuff like that's like an upgraded version, or that's like the prototype of a realm. So then it goes through the next process, and then it'll deliver life into it. Then at that point, maybe. There's loads to discuss. I've got like a few episodes. I don't know how many it's going to be, but I don't think it'd be massive. It's going to like, well, we'll see. I always expect it to be less episodes than it actually ended up being. um, and I only thought this was going to take a month, and it's been about a year nearly since I started Chi Creation. Um, so yeah, we'll finish this part and stuff like. So the Art Cloud. Is it again like the realm, as we see like the cosmology pictures? Um, so I think they're describing that to be the art realm. Realm. What do we call it? Cloud. Sorry. Now, this is another aspect I wanted to put into that is like the mainstream's perception of what this is. It doesn't mean it is what it is though. Like like this being a cloud. Like Mikey Smith were talking about seeing like craters and all these kind of things and stuff like on the surface of the dome. So so it looked like a landscape, you know what I mean? Mountain ridges and all these kind of things and stuff like. We need better quality images and stuff so we can like determine it better and stuff like. But so yeah, in terms of like the mainstream's perspective, they're depicting lights. So we'll just put a big cloud of lights, basically. Um, so if we're going to look at it with fresh eyes, maybe Mike is right with his opinion and stuff like that. But still, it represents like some sort of dome kind of structure. Although I do see this as like the outer domes. So we can even contemplate of where that is, like where Mike is looking. It might be like the inner dome, you know what I mean? So the inner dome might even be like translucent, so you can like see through it. Um, but if you existed in the spiritual realm, existence side of it and stuff, then it might all none of it be transparent. Like you know what I mean? It's gonna like fully visual, you know what I mean, and materialistic in terms of a spiritual sense. Because you're about frequency, you can pick objects up. You know, like a ghost won't be able to pick a can of Coke up because it can't grab it in that kind of sense. Kinda. I mean, you get poltergeist and all that kind of thing, but I don't know. Different topic, but I just wanted to use it as a reference in a sense because, like, if we went to that frequency, it might be that kind of example kind of thing, like. But but again, like the realm and how we see all the cosmology pictures and stuff. Um, Ignore the location because it's the same thing. You know what I mean? We're there. So in that spark of light, which is consciousness, that's where we'd exist. So the mainstream, that part's wrong. You know what I mean? In two ways: location and the shape of it. But when we talk about like the location of a dome, maybe that's how far away it is. So that's where we are, and that's where the dome would be of a reflection. There's barriers in between, so it's supposed to be a path at wandering stars, isn't it? But so we'll get onto the dome later because that's not the best image to be looking at. But that aspect, just the general, the blue circle. Oh, it don't have to be blue, but in that generalization, how it kind of fits that. So you have the sun, planets, and then you've got the hydrogen wall, and it looks like a dome. You know what I mean? It's kind of got like this glary. It's kind of too bright. But see, like the colours here and stuff like that faded look. So it's kind of lens-like, or how light reflects off of a lens. So then you've got the arc cloud after that. So again, it depends how it's depicted and all these kind of things and what it actually is rather than how it's illustrated. But what we're seeing is rings above in the terms of like the realm. So, like potential secondary or even more layers to the domes. I've got more to add to it. So as we kind of go along and stuff, like it's another depiction. I don't know, that picture's very good though. This is one with cross section. So one of the butterflies, it kind of had a tri-star pattern inside a mist. So maybe that's relevant. I see we like a ring there, a one dome, second dome. And you got these as well. So I mentioned how it's an important image. The line in between our horizon line, so it's horizontal, and then the two rings in that kind of sense. And also noteworthy is the shape. Again, it is only an illustration, but because that's like the analema, in that kind of way. And you've got the sun in the centre, or consciousness. Just another picture. That looks more solid. But you have your rings again. So in this one, 1, 2, and then 3. That shows you Vesica Pisces. It might be because of the ellipse shape, because it's 3D and it's kind of making it look like that. So like the top of the ring there and it goes there, but still it's kind of creating an ellipse shape. The next image, I think it does show you it more. And also, so that's one aspect of a dome. Maybe that is as well. So there we can see the Vesica Pisces and where the star would be in between. It's another example of the Oort cloud. In this example, it looks like a yin-yang. So if I add one part, you can see the swirl, how it comes over, and then the other one underneath. So really it's a circle and another circle within the yin-yang in that kind of way. So then we'll look at this. And is that like part of that reflection? Even with the horizon line. And also see how jumping blurriness. How the brightness, it starts to go dark and then disappears. So you can see through it. And you're starting to get other patterns coming through as well. So then, to add to the other domes, all these kind of things. More clues to like understanding the full idea of it all. This one, yeah. So this is one of the episodes I'm going to do, but I've grabbed pictures out of it and I've mixed them into other episodes, and but so these are remaining, which are, would be like this episode, I suppose. But I've not reorganized it into, so some of these we're going to skip anyway. I don't need to look at some video pictures because we've kind of gone through talking about that kind of thing and stuff like. That's kind of noteworthy. We've got all the seed shapes. So you get your Vesica Pisces and a lot of pear-shaped, heart shapes as well. So in like, reference to the shape of a realm and all these kind of things. So I wanted to touch up on this aspect of things. So we have a wood knots, and we see all lines around it and stuff. So back to laminar flow, and so we see how the laminar flow works. How that looks like an eye as well, but also like the black hole in terms of like where the well, what potentially is a Milky Way. I mean, maybe the Milky Way is inside it. It's like there's a lot of questions to add to it in that kind of sense. But if you consider the laminar flow, all right, for water, all right, do you know this videos of people, like you might have seen a shot and there's like a bottom of a dam and they've opened pipes and all water's gushing out. And there's a bloke stood next to the pipe, like about that big compared to this size pipe, and all water's coming out really fast, and he's like putting his hand to try and touch it, and you're not supposed to do it because it can rip your arm off or even carry you out into it rip you apart. You know what I mean? It's kind of like really really dangerous. So if we're gonna consider like the size of a Taurus field, if it is in water, you know what I mean, and like the spirit realm, then the energy that creates this pattern and the laminar flow which would go around it would be so strong that maybe that is what causes it. Like the strength of the dome and all these, because it's supposed to be like impenetrable in it and stuff like. And when you look at the blackness of a black hole, like that bubble, that looks impenetrable. It looks like something, you know, you won't be able to escape in a way. It's kind of like, how can we come out of our own consciousness and still be conscious? You know what I mean? We're part of a realm, so it's really difficult to try and conceptualize that in a sense. So you can see outlines, kind of good for that kind of sense and stuff like that. Taurus field and tunnel. Just as reference, I wanted to conclude that because your locations of your sun and moon and being connected and being the whole, all that kind of stuff. You got it that way and all that kind of thing. That's supposed to be a proper picture of a black hole. So rather than all the other examples I've given and stuff like, the ripples are interesting. It's almost like that water droplet, which is, you know, coming out like that kind of thing. But still, it's grainy, and the narrative of black holes that they give is completely wrong and not part of what this is. There's another picture of them in considerations of understanding the Vesic Pisces and such. This were a consideration of the pear-shapedness of the world and stuff. So I considered that. I didn't know whether it would be that way or that way. Somebody's done it. So like the teardrop and that kind of sense and stuff. It's quite interesting. Donald put a link for someone called Nicole, who presented on Space Busters 12 days ago. And her work significantly like this series I'm doing, but I wanted to add a little bit in terms of where are we? Where are you? Because she goes into Analema, and the sun being a reflection and all that kind of stuff like as well. I've not touched on Analema yet, so but I don't think I've not really got it properly in terms of like understanding the Analema and all that kind of stuff like. So where are we? Yeah. I had that in consideration, you know, so like this bottom part that can fit round something like that. And with Final Experiment, I didn't know whether it'd be like this or like that. If it were that way and you had flat ground there, then you'd have your 2 points, yin and a yang, you know. If we put it back up, then we still got 2 points. We've got a yin and a yang, which might be more relevant because like the it's the split of the realm, you know what I mean, of a sun. So the yin yang splits in different ways and stuff like. So this is what's residing in the middle and stuff like. Another thing that I hadn't got is the going around the sun in that kind of sense and stuff like. But I was like right close. I didn't have the Analema correctly in a sense and stuff like, but kind of close anyway. So it would have been part of the series. I was comparing it with part as well. Um, so just to contribute to that, properties on that one. What day are we on? 26th of December. That's what Teardrop. Treble Clef. 26th of December. So, in the same sense, you know what I mean? It's gonna like. That's when all the ideas for this were going on in my mind and stuff like. So, it's first I've heard of her work. And at first instance, when Donald mentioned it and stuff like that, I had a little skim through, and I thought that's exactly the same as mine. And I kind of thought we've got another research thief, you know what I mean? And it's gonna like, it's like how have I done this, you know what I mean, in that kind of sense and stuff like. Because I've made references to this before. It's not come up. That before. So it almost felt like jumping the gun, but I've seen a little bit of it now, and I kind of think it does look authentic. So in terms of like questioning whether I'm going to go to the Globe because I've like shown you some pictures of some stars and stuff like that kind of thing, you could watch her version of this and stuff like, because she's got like the flat Earth illustrations to go with it. Which, you know, it kind of, you know, it fits in that kind of sense and stuff like. So it's for this one. So yeah, like I said, it's quite good. I've not watched it all though. So where are we now? So this is one of the things I wanted to add. In terms of like the reflection, where the sun is. So obviously this is wrong. We understand that, right? If we flatten that out, right? So because it's curved, it's going to come out a bit, isn't it? So flatten it out, and then we're only seeing half of it. So we double that size, right? So it might be that big, or maybe a little bit more. So in terms of like the area of the land for the focal point of this, I mean, look at that. That's not 93 million mile away when you look at this graph and stuff like. And this part's important, all these triangles parts, because that's how our eyes work when you think about it and stuff like. Then the orientation of light for this realm, for us to work properly in it, then that has to be right. So if we put that 93 million miles away, all these triangles suddenly become like really long and really thin, and it's gonna like, it's not gonna work. But when we look at it like this, right, so if we've got, that's where reflection is. So we say that's the sun rather than it being picture at moon. So that's where the sun is, but it gets projected up there because that's where the the lens is, the dome. So once it reflects off there, like I mentioned, like if you put a mirror at the end of your hallway is suddenly twice as long. So the sun will appear twice as far away. So that's why it'll be projected further out. So we can figure out how high the sun is. We can figure out how far away it is. I was speaking about that on Rogers the other day and stuff like. So so yeah, it just needs tweaking correctly. You know what I mean? That needs flattening out, and then it, you know, once it's done, it should be quite good. Again, for illustration purposes. So this is to those angles look wrong and all that kind of stuff like. So like the depth is quite good, like the black depth of it and stuff. The curvature's bad. I mean, we've debunked this anyway, haven't we? So that's a better picture. I don't know if you get the depth as well though. For curvature anyway. And I liked this one. Right, you got the moon here, right? And then you've got the shadow of the moon there. It looks like the shadow, but then even the shadow's got like light on it. Like there's a surface to the shadow. So, but that light blocks out the bottom of Earth. And then you got the eclipse happening way over there. It's gonna like, so that's obviously not a real photo then. You know what I mean? um, so you know why would they fake it? If 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 that's what it were like, then why would they fake it? You know? So this, it can still work, that in terms of like the angles and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't need to be a ball for that to work. So I'm on the wrong one now. So as perspective lines, you can see them like waves. Well, because like there's a bit of splashing slightly, and almost look like teeth there, so like it would be appropriation for where it'd be. But we also see a teardrop shape. So, so in terms of his eyesight, then we've got this crisscross, haven't we? And we look at this one. This is quite balanced. It looks equal. You know what I mean? Like, and not all of them are like that. That's cool because it's two suns. So it's like, you know, expressing that the sun split in a sense. So this one's got a large area at the bottom, a small area at the top. That's more equal. That's fairly equal. Then you got a little triangle here, and then a large area there. It's almost like that's the ground, and that's like above in that kind of way. It works two ways, doesn't it? Because you got your horizon line there, so you got your sun, and it's repeated, but it moves forward that way. So we've discussed how it reuses the knowledge it's got and applies it in different ways, so it can, like, I think it's so it can have that 3D movement in a sense, like a crab moves sideways. You know what I mean? So like the waves and stuff, they don't always come forwards and backwards because it depends where you are. If the tide's going that way, you know. But also because of the different sizes, as we talk about like how the realm expands and contracts, then that is a big aspect to it as well. Oops. Another example of the Oort cloud. See, it's depicted here, and you can't even see it. It's just like a mist, and then you've got your Kuiper belt. I'm not sure how to pronounce that actually. So you go on there. Like I say, I'm not really the space scientist and such and stuff. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff you don't know about in terms of names and pronunciation or whatever. But so your main asteroid belt. So in terms of, would that just be another dome? And would that be another dome? And would that be another dome? So that's three there, and then you get a sun. So the sun would have its dome as well, and you'd exist within it. Saying that's the flat edge there, and looking up. And a clearer picture of that. So the expansion and contraction of realm would give you the ability for your eye to expand and contract, and then for your ability of your vision, so you can see things close up, you can see things far away, and all those kind of things and stuff. But yeah, Nicole put the analema around it, which makes a lot of sense. or somewhat like that anyway. But she has done a lot of work in it. I think she's looked into things of the past, and I don't know. I've only watched a little bit. I kind of got the gist that it didn't look like she'd stolen it, so you know what I mean. Um, but on that note as well, so yeah, so like these pictures, where are we? Like 4th of January. So you know, um, that's when it were all developing and such. Um, so yeah, I'll put a link to what's it called, Space Busters in there and stuff like, so you can check that out as well. Um, so yeah, I'll leave it there because I'm running out of time. So thank you for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.